It's Dave Franklin, and I'm doing a presentation for CIS 5530 at Florida Institute of Technology. Today I'm going to talk about configuration management with Puppet. What is Puppet? Simply speaking, Puppet is a configuration management tool used to deploy, maintain, and manage servers. It uses a server client architecture, and it helps the network administrator maintain consistency across all the nodes in the network. In this presentation, I'm going to perform Puppet pre-installation tasks, install and configure Puppet server and Puppet agent, verify Puppet configuration, and create a Puppet manifest. So for the pre-installation tasks, first thing you want to do is make sure your host name is set. For this example, my server is going to have a host name of master.fitsys.local, and the agent will have agent.fitsys.local. Once you have a host name that is set up, you want to configure name resolution by editing the host file or configuring DNS. When that's complete, you can verify your settings and make sure the agent and the master can contact each other with a ping command. Once you establish that connection, you need to set up an NTP server. In your CentOS installation or many other Linux installation, NTP server may already be installed. In this example, you can just install cronny using the command yum install cronny, and then check the configuration file to make sure that time servers are actually set up in the configuration. Once that's complete, you can go ahead and start and enable cronny and check the status of cronny and its sources. Cronny C sources will check the performance of your time server. Once your time server is set up, it's finally time to install Puppet server. So on your server machine, you want to do the command yum install Puppet server. Now, whenever you install a Puppet server, that will also install a Puppet agent as a dependent package. When Puppet server is installed, your next step is to configure the Puppet server configuration file. Under the master section, or if there's not a master section, you could go ahead and create one if you so desire. And one of the parameters that's useful there is DNS alt names if you have additional alternate names that you want to refer to your master server by. If you don't, you could just leave this blank. Then, further down in that file under the main section, you need to specify the certificate name. In this case, the certificate name for the Puppet master or the Puppet server, is master.fitsys.local. The server itself is master.fitsys.local. The environment that this server will perform under is a production environment, and run interval of 1 hour is all often the Puppet agents will check the Puppet master for configuration changes. When that's complete, you want to go ahead and start and enable Puppet server and configure your firewall to allow port 8140 to listen for incoming connections. Once your server is set up and running, it's now time to install your Puppet agent using the command yum install puppet-agent. Once Puppet agent is installed, you want to edit the configuration file located at etc puppet labs puppet.conf. And in the main section, again, you need to specify the certificate name or cert name parameter that need to be edited. That's going to be the name of the agent certificate, the server, which is in this case master.fitsys.local, the environment, which is production, and the run interval, which is 1 hour. When that's complete, you use this command here to make sure that the Puppet service is running. And right below, you want to, whenever you do that command, it also registers the Puppet agent to the Puppet server. So now the Puppet server knows that there's an agent out there that wants to connect. So now you could move back over to the Puppet server and you type up Puppet Labs bin Puppet server C a list, and that will list all the certificates that's waiting on the Puppet server to be signed. And then the command right below that, Puppet server C is signed, dash dash cert name, and then the name of the certificate that you want to sign. That will let the Puppet server sign the certificate for the agent. Once that's complete, you could just go back to the Puppet agent machine and just type Puppet agent -t, and this will test the connection between the Puppet agent and the Puppet server. Now, in this example, we're going to be copying over files from one location on the server to a specific location on or specified location in the Puppet agent. So the location that you want to copy the file from, I'm going to refer to it as tech pubs right here. And then the path will be, root file, root folder, then a folder called publication under that. And allow asterisk just says allow all files and folders within that path. Now you save this to a file called fileserver.conf, and in the Puppet Lab configuration directory, which is puppet-lab/puppet. Once that's done, it's time to create your Puppet manifest. Now the node, this is going to specify which nodes on your system this manifest will apply to. In this case, I'm using node default, which just says apply the manifest to all the nodes on the network. I only have one node, which is one agent, so default works. Include that library. So now you could download modules from the Puppet Forge website, pre-built modules, and you could include those modules so you don't have to reinvent the wheel and write new code. Also in this example, I'm going to create a user account on a Puppet agent machine. The user has been called ctpl_user. The name, that's going to be the name of the user account. We're going to ensure that user is present and set a password using a password hash function to password. And provide a user add. You can omit this parameter if you have various different machines. So you have a Windows machine and a Macintosh machine that's acting as agents. You don't need to specify the parameter, the provider, because Puppet is smart enough to figure out what provider it should use to add the user agent, the user account, sorry. And then manage home variable, just be set to true, just tells the Puppet server to create the home directory whenever it creates the user. Your next thing I want this manifest to do is to make sure that the user, CTPL user, has a folder called desktop, and I specify the path home CTPL user desktop and ensure directory. That means just make sure the directory is present. My next step is to copy the files over into a folder called publications located on that user's desktop. So again, I specify the path, make sure the directory is present, and say what the source was, which is Puppet 3 which tells you that it's located on the Puppet server's file share and a location called techpubs. And in that fileserver.conf file earlier, we specified a techpub location to be the root folder in a folder called publications. So that's where it's going to get the source information from. The parameter recurse equals true just tells the Puppet server to apply the changes recursively. So it not only copies over the directory or files, but it also does it for the subdirectories. Purge equals true. Also go ahead and make sure that if there's one file that's not present on the Puppet agent, it will get deleted. I'm sorry, if there's a file not present on the Puppet master, it'll get deleted from the Puppet agent. And I also added another parameter in here. I didn't write it here. It's called force equals true. and that makes sure that if there is an empty folder, it will also get deleted from the Puppet agent. So it won't just delete the file, it will delete the folders as well. And I changed the owner of the file to CTPL user. You don't have to do this. You could leave the owner to be whatever works so that the user is going to have actual access to these files. It depends on how much access that you want. You could also change the mode of the file right here with the chmod command and so on and so forth. Okay, so that is pretty much it for the presentation. I'm going to go into the demonstration. So let me just close out of this right here. And I'm already connected to my Puppet server, or my Puppet master, which is right here, master. And over here, I'm connected to my Puppet agent. So if I run the command Puppet agent -t, the agent will query the server for any changes and apply those changes to the actual to the agent. So let me just give you an idea of what it looks like. I'm gonna go back to this folder called publication, and if I list all the files, these are all the files that's present. So it's like 105 files and a folder with more files. If I dive deeper into that folder, you'll see that that folder also have other folders and files in it. So I'm going to go ahead and delete all these files here that begin with EAWS, files and folders that begin with EAWS, and I'm going to reapply the rerun Puppet agent test. So here goes, rm-ri EAWS asterisk. And then now, I'm going to clear my terminal. If I list the files, now all the EAWS files are gone. So if we go back over to the Puppet master, I'll show you what it looks like in that folder. So here, if I go into the work folder, you'll see that the EAWS files are here on the server, but they're not on the master. So I'm going to go ahead and run on the agent. Sorry, I'm going to go ahead and run on the agent, Puppet agent -t. And now when I run that, the expected result is that all the files that were deleted from the Puppet agent will now get replaced by the Puppet server. And it applied those changes. It was quite a bit of files. It applied them in 22 seconds. So let me clear my terminal. And if I do a ls function here, now all the EAWS files is now present again on the Puppet agent. Now let's do the reverse. I'm going to delete those files from the Puppet master. Here's my master server. So if I go, let me clear my terminal. So on the Puppet master, if I do rm-ri EAWS asterisk, it's going to remove all 4 of those files and do an ls, and now those files are gone. So now when I run, let me clear my terminal for the agent. When I run the Puppet agent test again, it's going to check for any changes that were made on the Puppet master and apply those changes over to the agent. And now in 6 seconds it applied the agent. Let me clear my terminal and do ls function, and now all those files and folders that were present on the agent is no longer present once that test is run. So let me demonstrate with the user. I'm going to go ahead. Here I am on the Puppet agent. Here I am in the Puppet agent. I'm going to delete this user. So let me just go to the home directory, or the root directory, sorry. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm a user del -r and delete ctpl underscore user. So now if you look in the home directory, there's only one user, Dane, and that user, ctpl user, is not there. So if I do puppet agent -t, it should create that user and copy all those files over from the master server into the agent in the specified location on the agent. Now, I should have deleted some of these files because it's quite a bit of files. So let me go ahead and I'll do that afterwards. So now it's complete. It took 25 seconds. Let me clear my terminal. And then now if I do a ls function, now we see that ctpl user is created, and we can go inside of that directory and see that the desktop folder was created, and do another ls function, and the publications folder was created. Okay, and now everything is back to where it's made. So the last thing I'm going to do here is delete all these files that end with PDF. So rm-i *.pdf, and it's going to remove the 100 files, and now they're gone. This is on the Puppet agent. So if I move over to the Puppet master, we see that those files are still there. So if I do a Puppet agent -t, it should go ahead and update all those files and put them back in the correct place on the Puppet agent. And it did that. Let me clear my terminal. Did an ls function, and now those files are all there. Okay, so it created a user. It could put your files back. You could do this for any kind of a configuration file or any file whatsoever, or any resources. A lot of different resources that could be managed using Puppet. And that is pretty much it for my presentation. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. If you have any questions, just shoot me an email. Thank you.